There's YouTube. Greetings. Hello, YouTube. Let me see if I still have my Rumble chat popped out from this morning. I think I do. Oh, I do. Look at that. Ooh. All right. Let's get to it. Lights, camera, and action. All right. I don't know what I got, but let's see. Mythos and Fable are still banned, and I'm still pissed. I want my toy. It's not a toy. It's actually, like, I want to do serious work with it. I want to build, like, some really seriously cool things, but now I can't do that because, well, either the government or Dario Amade, or both, are being jackholes. They're being jackholes. I want to play with it, dang it. It really is crazy how like moving up to it, up to that model didn't seem like that big a leap, but having it for a few days and then going back to the old one sure seemed like a drop, like big time. Much more noticeable than the step up. Interesting. Sneaky. All right, Gavin Newsom. Oh, yeah. He's getting investigated.
In recent days.
Oh, my goodness, that is loud. Okay, we're going to volume adjust here. Probably a bit much. There we go.
Federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries.
Something I'm sure you would never do, and haven't. Right, Gavin?
To reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents.
Again, things you would never do as governor of California. Am I right, Gavin?
His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Tish James, Adam Schiff.
Tish.
Them after Tim.
He called her Trish James.
Waltz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And
I wouldn't go dying on the kooky "he raped me" Lady Hill at this point. What's her name? Batty woman she is.
Today, I proudly join that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen.
Oh, really? It's almost, like, I don't know, it's almost like, why would he do that unless, or why would they, rather, the DOJ do that unless, I don't know, they had a reason to do it, Gavin. It's almost like they know where the goods are.
A public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls. Someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't
keeping quiet about getting raped by Harvey Weinstein for like decades and then only coming out and talking about it after it benefited her politically and financially?
Intimidate me, they'll
You mean like that?
go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's running the largest cash heist in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses, day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office. Through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale. And today, my family and I can personally confirm that justice is for sale. To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you. You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemies list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal vendetta.
Leave my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. Crack it. But you aren't going to slap him, are you? I don't think that would end too well.
I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love you, and I'm sorry he's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you.
For some reason, I'm getting the distinct feeling that she actually does deserve.
And our children.
Whatever's coming.
And to Donald Trump.
Because, like, why else would he preemptively jump out and start screeching to the world unprovoked, seemingly? I am not a criminal. I am not a crook.
This country.
Neither is my wife.
This country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness. And we're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against as we move to celebrate our 250th anniversary. I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of president.
As opposed to the guy that, you know, stole his best friend's wife and, you know, bada bing, bada boom. Here we are. Fucking jackass. What an absolute idiot. And now I can't wait to find out what's gonna be coming out, because something's clearly coming. And it's obviously got something to do with his wife, who is an interesting character. Oh yeah, Keir Starmer, I guess, got targeted in an arson attack. His house and his vehicle or something by some Ukrainian guy. Pardon? A Ukrainian guy and a Romanian guy or something. Group of Ukrainians. I don't know. So something like that. Yeah, pretty weird. Makes you wonder.
China.
After China.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. This is a real picture of the AI battle currently playing out, about to play out.
The next most impressive frontier builders after U.S.
China.
After
By
China.
far. Like, aside from the U.S. and China, like, there is no third country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you think of any? Not really. Like, maybe the UK, but the UK's main frontier lab is DeepMind, which is owned by an American company.
Google.
And, like, their whole talent ecosystem is, like, heavily connected to America.
Yep.
I've seen several people say that the reason that the UK is a player in the AI space at all is because Demis just likes London quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's companies that have, like, part of the stack, but not
The culture
full
is
stack.
wedge.
Culture's a wedge. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like,
The Jamaican food in London is keeping DeepMind.
we have Jamaican food here, too.
I'm sure it's not as good. If you've had jerk chicken in London and you've had jerk chicken in San Francisco,
I've had
and you
jerk
compare
chicken in,
the-
like, Florida.
No, I'm just saying our audience who's out there. If you can compare those two things directly, please hit the MTS tip line and tell us.
Yeah, we're
We
not
used to have,
comparing
like, jerk
models
chicken for
anymore.
lunch
We're
in,
comparing
like,
jerk chicken.
public school
Shut
in
up
Florida
about the
because all
chicken.
the
Get back to
lunch
the
staff
stuff.
were, like, Caribbean. There's to, like, a full frontier AI stack are the United States and China. Other countries, like Korea and Taiwan, have, like, critical bottlenecks in chip manufacturing.
Hynix.
Yeah, Taiwan has
Critical pieces of the
TSMC.
stack.
Yes, Korea has SK Hynix and Samsung, which make memory, which is required for these chips. So that's critical. The UAE and Singapore are big, like, funders of AI, so I think they will do fine because they own a lot of stock in a lot of frontier labs.
So let's see
But no real, like, actual capacity of their own. It's all just funding.
if that lets them use Fable or not.
Yeah,
They might still be just watching the number go up without being able to.
Participate.
The only two countries that have basically everything end to end, or are currently very close to building the few missing pieces, are the US and China.
well, it'll be their number going up.
Yeah.
Fine. Like, Israel has, like, a lot of talent and they have SSI, but
Yep.
not much aside from that. The Gulf states have energy and they also have lots of capital, but there's no, like, compute there. They have, like, data centers being built there, but they're not manufacturing anything and there's no frontier lab. So it's really just the US and China.
That's it, folks. You heard it here. Don't worry about it.
The next most
Now, one of those, or both, is going to end up winning the race and effectively providing, at their whim, the next commodity that will surge nations forward into the future. It's U.S. and China, they're going to have complete and total control of that. Is oil, obviously, for the last century or so, but it's about to be this, and every country on Earth will be at the beck and call of either the U.S. or China, as if they aren't already, but even more so.
I was actually the youngest quant researcher at a
Oh yeah, this whole terror thing from the UFC event seems pretty weird. Seems pretty sketchy.
This breaking news just into the Fox newsroom. The FBI disrupting this alleged plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House. Officials telling Fox a network of nearly 24 potential plotters were identified, with at least 5 people in custody right now. The suspects allegedly traveled to Fredericksburg, Virginia to make final preparations for the attack. And the alleged plan allegedly included explosive-packed drones hitting buildings near the event, forcing a mass evacuation, and then steering crowds, get this, toward a pre-staged sniper team. A second wave was then planned to storm the White House gate. The FBI first learned of the threat on June 10th and worked with law enforcement across multiple states to stop it. FBI Director Kash Patel saying, quote, We are built to detect, respond to, and bring to justice those who threaten the lives of American citizens, particularly during large gatherings like the historic UFC 250 fight. That's exactly what we did here. Over 4,300 people were in attendance for UFC 250, which included 1,200 service members. Luckily, nobody was harmed during the FBI's takedown. The event went off without a hitch.
Gotta say, the timing is pretty suspect. Like, right as the Iran deal seems to be finally clinched, more or less, with obviously still a little leeway ahead. And especially with Bibi playing the whole, oh, we'll do whatever we want card, you know. We'll bomb who we want, when we want to. I don't know precisely what he said, but it was effectively something along those lines. Flying in the face of U.S. policy, Trump's wishes, Trump's efforts. Why? I don't know. Who knows? I think that's kind of the big question. One of them, anyway. Makes you wonder about this thing, though, this whole event. It was allegedly targeting IPAC people, America-Israeli Political Action Committee, in addition to Trump admin people. It would feed right into the whole Iran war. Oh no, you've got to keep going, President Trump. You know, like, just look what they just did to you.
This breaking news.
SPLC boss. Oh, this is a salacious one. This is dirty, disgusting. And I was right about her, by the way. This is the lady that I named. One of the ladies that I named. Heidi Beirich. Funneled $1.2 million to her lover in a neo-Nazi group. Apparently even including some funds being sent to a joint bank account that the two held together. How cute. Yep, employee 2. I was dead on. Heidi Beirich. I don't know if employee 1 has been unmasked yet, but I did have a guess. We'll see if I got that one too. I searched and I haven't seen a name for employee 1 just yet, but mystery surrounds the identity of the informant F9 who received the $1.2 million. So it's not known who Ms. Beirich is or was, I guess, porking and feeding gobs of money to. Yeah, it's a dirty one, man. Let me see if we can find anything. Oops, I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. Heidi Beirich. Let's see. What can we find? Oh, here she. See, she has a much more substantial digital footprint than the other lady, employee 1. Employee 1, who, in my estimation, my research, my guesswork, was Teenie Hutchison. Teenie is a fucking ghost. She has basically this little, like, dead-ass, completely empty LinkedIn profile. 22 followers, 18 connections, no profile picture, scarcely any info at all, other than her name. Other than that, there is a whole lot of nothing. Now, is that her? On Facebook? Who knows? No telling. It says retired, so not sure. You can see her listed on filings, but that is it. There is no social media footprint. There is no interview footprint. There is no public speaking footprint. No record of comment in the media. At least from what I remember of my searches before. She's just like what is she again? The CTO or CFO of one of the largest, CFO, treasurer, and secretary of one of the largest protest action groups in the United States. A very, historic one. Been around a long time. And yet she has no public profile practically whatsoever. That's really sketchy to me. Ms. Beerich, however, is a different story.
Well, I mean, this terrible, terrible tragedy reminds us once again that hate is alive and well in parts of the society. Hate groups are active. There are places where
this is after there was some shooting in Charleston at the Black Church.
People believe extremely racist and violent ideas about people of color and Jews.
Well, here she is whining about remigration over in the UK. I assume. I mean, that's the word they tend to use there.
About as hateful as it could possibly be. Frankly, it's downright scary.
Yeah, it's downright scary asking people that are from a different place to go back where they came from, to their home, where they belong.
Everyone, and thanks for joining me for this latest.
It's downright terrifying, I tell you. Fucking wacko. That's Heidi Beerich. And boy, does she be rich, apparently. She'd be getting that Nazi money.
I'm Heidi Beirich. I'm the co-founder
Beirich. It's not Beerich. It probably should be, but...
of the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, which is a new organization founded this year to try to tackle all forms of hatred that are now largely across boundaries.
Except, of course, for the hatred perpetrated by people like her. That, of course, is love.
National white supremacy, for example, anti-Muslim, anti-LGBTQ bigotry. The point of the organization is to show that at this point in time,
white people are evil.
Especially with the rise of social media and Facebook and Twitter, that hatred is no longer something that exists country by country, that it's now a worldwide problem that proliferates across borders. So,
and it basically only comes from white people.
Organization, the Global.
Very odd narrative. Oh, has there been any, sorry, the whole reason I was searching there was for any recent mentions of Ms. Beirich. Oh, not yet. Looks like they're staying quiet. Oh, this is a big deal. SpaceX XAI has exercised the option to acquire Cursor in an all-stock transaction with the goal of building the world's most useful AI models. So I think it was announced a few months back that they were either going to acquire Cursor, or if they did not, they had a standing deal where they would give them like $1 billion in exchange for all the work that they were doing together. But it looks like after going public, they're flush with cash, man. They can do it. So they're going through with it. They're buying Cursor and are going for it with some more serious AI models, which is probably good to have someone that isn't Dario and Sam Altman in there. Dario Amodei and Creepy Sam are currently leading the pack, for better or worse. Probably worse. So getting a third party in there, whatever you think of Mr. Musk, probably a good thing. And it does indeed sound like SpaceX has been jointly training a model with Cursor for the past few months, which will be released in Cursor and Grok builds soon. And if I heard right, it is not just a coding model, but like a general use model. So should serve, not, I mean, it'll code too, but it'll do everything. Did I tag anything on that? Let me see. Thought I'd seen one of them posting about it, but no, don't see it there. All right. Oh, JD Vance went on the View. Ugh, why?
What did black people do to this administration that has allowed it to...
Gee, I don't know. Have you turned on a television lately or walked into basically any inner city anywhere? Whoopee.
Really stigmatize folks.
The youth takeover, the teen takeovers. I mean, people getting assaulted on public transportation, or any of the bullshit that went on during the Carmelo Anthony trial, anything.
The color, and you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family. Sure. So
we're just going with black people did nothing.
You
okay.
See, you know, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down,
what?
Or them doing
what the fuck? Are you seriously talking about Emmett Till?
Kinds of removal of information of black heroes. How does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just
yeah, my thoughts exactly, Mr. Vance.
No, Emmett Till was a kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Your actual point.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone serious does actually.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. You know, where they're taking down.
Yeah, there's just so many that I just can't remember all of them.
The actual history that happened in this country.
All that history that I can't. There's just so much of it that I can't recall it.
Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened, and it seems
all kinds of stuff. So much stuff, in fact, that I can't even say how much stuff there is.
That it has been very easy for this administration to remove that and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off
by
to get this American dream. How do you, I mean, you
doing what?
You know better.
Mindless clapping ensues. Okay. All right.
So, you know so Sonny,
they turned the clap sign on and they just.
That was actually a very helpful intervention because I think the story you're talking about is where, you know, allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on skin color. I've seen the story.
I'm talking about a host of things. I'm talking about black history getting erased from public spaces, black vote.
Such as,
voter districts are being dismantled.
For example,
Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks.
Like who?
Where do Americans of color fit in this vision? Because it doesn't seem like we fit.
Well, here your ass is on a fucking television, hag.
I think
running your stupid ass mouth.
Sonny, my view.
So, what's the problem again?
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country. All but 3 were white South Africans.
Are you really trying to say that you can't be fucking?
So, first of all, I'm very skeptical of that.
Are we just going to ignore? Like, how?
That number.
How can you do that?
Because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America.
How can you? Like, I've got to rewind that.
8 refugees.
Sonny, my view.
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country. All but 3 were white South.
Oh, so she's specifically talking about refugees allowed into the country.
South Africans.
Under, I guarantee you, a certain very specific program, conveniently excluding other avenues by which they also get in.
So, first of all, I'm very skeptical.
Fucking Jack. People are so disgusting.
Of that number because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America. But
H-1B.
Let me just address Whoopi's point. Look, first of all, you asked the question, and maybe you don't believe this coming from me, but I think everybody is welcome in our political coalition. Frankly, even if you didn't vote for us, everybody is welcome in our country so long as you're an American citizen with the duties and the legal obligations and rights to be here. But Whoopi, let me just give you
I wonder how many white South Africans made it in under Joe Biden.
an example of this. Okay, so
versus all the rest of them.
You say that we're anti-minority or anti-black.
No, I didn't say that. I asked. See?
No, you basically just inferred it and implied it and did everything but say it.
Okay, fine. Fair.
I mean, I know you changed your name to be Jewish, but you're just really going the extra mile, aren't you?
Don't start any stuff with me, man. Don't get me in trouble.
I misinterpreted your question, but let me answer your actual question there. What I'm saying, I think, okay, look at Washington, D.C. One of the most democratic and one of the blackest, by a share of population, blackest cities in the United States of America, has seen a radical decrease in violent crimes and sexual assaults and in murders. We have tried to take the crime issue seriously, in part because we believe everybody, whether you're black or white or rich or poor, deserves to live in a safe neighborhood.
But why does the crime? Where does the crime step in? This is not about crime. This is about.
Isn't it though, Whoopi? Isn't it? I ask again, have you stepped into an inner city lately and seen the state of affairs amongst your people?
Lost their jobs.
Right. This is about human rights.
It's because they took their gerbs.
What you're saying is we got to do more on the economy.
Black history has been erased from public spaces.
Black history is not erased from public spaces.
We do have to get to a wrong
That is absurd.
when we get back.
Provide example, please.
Very important.
I'm telling you.
Come on, Vance. Do it better. You got to do better than that. Make her provide you an example.
We celebrate Black history. We celebrate all American history in this administration.
It's usually better than this.
Can I ask about a specific?
But I promise you,
I have to go to break. Anna, God, please, we have more with them by the way.
Oh, don't have a melty. Don't have a melty, Whoopi. Not on national television, okay?
JD Vance when we come back.
Breathing exercises, deep breaths, prayer hands. That'll help. 15 individuals with alleged ties to Antifa networks have been federally indicted in Minnesota for conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers during ICE operations. Ooh.
Today,
Fucked around and found out, I guess.
Federal indictment was unsealed.
Oh gosh, that's it's coming out of my other speaker, so I can't hear it, but I'm pretty sure you guys can, so I'm going to let it play for you.
Today, a federal indictment was unsealed, charging 15 defendants with conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers and other charges related to efforts of two Minneapolis-based Antifa groups that violently opposed the enforcement of federal law in our state.
Well, there we go. I have no idea what he just said, but I assume it was something to the effect of the headline I just read out. 94-page indictment. HSA knocked it out of the park. Could be used as a blueprint. Feds drop hammer on 15 Minnesota Antifa members accused of organized anti-ICE violence. On the whole Anthropic Fable 5 dust up. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick. Or wait, would that be, yeah, it's Lutnick. Reportedly told Anthropic it needs government permission to export Fable 5 and Mythos 5 anywhere in the world, even to any foreign national, regardless of location, whether outside or inside our borders. Lutnick threatened Anthropic with criminal and civil penalties if it failed to comply, according to a copy of the directive obtained by Bloomberg News. Anthropic's response was to disable both models for all users. 2 points to consider. 1, even friendly nations are excluded from the most significant models. State-of-the-art is increasingly, becoming a strategic weapon kept secret. Oh yeah. I think the period of rapid public development is effectively, unfortunately, over. As a result, AI is now being shifted away from private companies and directly into, well, government control and control. Who knows who else. Used to take place relatively openly. Still is, technically, but it seems like that era is about to be over. As it stands, anybody can go do advanced AI research. They're so inclined. If you have the money to rent the time on a GPU, you don't even have to own a server or any GPUs or anything. You can just rent the time on a remote at a remote data center. Anyone can do it. You can go do advanced science research, advanced engineering work, advanced, you name it. That is all potentially about to change. Which makes me wonder about all the people whining about data centers. Like, where is it that you think advanced medical cures that you also claim to want, like, where do you think that's going to come from? where do you think, how do you think research is done now? How do you think it's been done for decades at this point? It just, and has been done for a long time on computers. Run simulations, calculations. And even now doing a lot of the reasoning and actual thinking. I guess a lot of the people doing this must not realize it, but if you are cheering on the stopping of data centers in the US, you are cheering on the just progress in medical and fields and science just screeching to a complete and total halt, and effectively handing any and all future discoveries and control over to China. I mean, you want the cures? comes with a price, unfortunately. You gotta get there somehow. Oh, this was insane. I'm not even gonna play that. All right, where is our main page here? There we go. Newsom, let's hear it.
This is nuts to me, and I feel like we're at the beginning of something, Susan, because...
Oh, you bet. Newsom is clearly...
There's a reason...
Clearly very, very scared.
That Gavin Newsom stepped up to a camera yesterday and then issued this screed about how he's the victim. He's the one who just revealed that a grand jury's been impaneled against his family. And now I feel like we're at the beginning of something sort of like a big news cycle involving his family's corruption.
Well, absolutely. I spent all night last night because I was getting inundated by requests doing a story that I've been working on for some time, listing at least 20 people, criminals that have, and people with serious ethics violations that have worked for Gavin Newsom. So that story will be coming out, and you won't believe it. He tries to distance himself, but it's interesting when you have that much smoke around you, when people are getting indicted and are serving time. Even his homelessness czar is serving time for bribery and corruption. So that's just a little taste for you exclusively. But it's just mind-boggling. When you've been following this stuff like I have, I wrote a whole book about it because I knew that California's politics, people are aware that California's policies are bad, that we're just a petri dish for social experimentation on the left, on the far left. But they didn't know that there was so much political corruption in California. And now everybody's descending on California and exposing the fraud. Yes. But I was trying to expose the fraud, back in 2023 because I moved here from DC. It's my home state, and I was outraged by what I was seeing. I mean, the EDD, the unemployment fraud. There were people on death row getting paychecks, and they made it out. Their names were Mickey Mouse. They submitted requests for unemployment during COVID, and they were getting millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some of them were on death row. I mean, this is just, there was no checking. There's absolutely. Yes. And the homelessness money too, the $24 billion, it's now probably upwards of $30 billion that just like went missing. We know where it went, but we don't know what it went for. But I'm telling you, as Bill Asaley, the Trump appointed U.S. attorney, has been investigating in Los Angeles, it's going to these nonprofits that are making millions and millions of dollars, and some of them, as I've reported, are spending it on Beverly Hills mansions, on luxury vehicles, on Birkin bags for their girlfriend, diamond necklaces. It's all documented. And I did a follow-up story about that particular instance, and I found that there were donations to Gavin Newsom from that nonprofit's main directors, and nobody cared. I wrote about the story, and I kept saying, hey, there is a political nexus between Gavin Newsom and these LA elected officials and this nonprofit that's under a cloud. And I kept writing about it. Are you going to give back the money? Are you going to give back the money? They didn't even give back the tainted money from this homelessness firm. It's called Shangri-La, by the way. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. The fraud is so unbelievable here. I mean, I think it was the Trump administration official who was testifying before Congress and saying, there was a taco stand that was, was supposed to be a hospice, was making out with millions of dollars because it was purporting to be a hospice.
Look,
oh my God.
This is ridiculous.
It's so crazy. I'm so grateful that you're digging into all this. And every time we talk about California, I keep thinking, man, the Constitution really needs a mechanism to get rid of a state until it has a functioning government again. Can you imagine? We just put California in timeout. We just make them a territory for a short period of time until we have a functioning government again.
Good golly. Okay.
Producing again.
Trump pushes for more drilling in California.
The Trump administration ordered Sable's pipeline to start producing again by invoking the Defense Production Act, a law that gives the president emergency powers to influence domestic industries to help national defense.
You can see and hear that pumping is underway right now. Sable says as soon as the Defense Production Act was invoked, they were ready to go.
There's a sign at Sable that now reads, quote, wells flowing, sales meter rolling, American oil from American soil. Sable is ramping up to produce 200,000 barrels of oil per day, according to the Department of Energy.
Not bad.
In Canada, looking with Mark Carney, the leader of Canada, looked like they were having a good conversation. So it's nice to be neighborly.
Yes, and just for the trivia buffs at home, name the G7. Obviously the U.S. and the U.K. You saw the Prime Minister from Japan there. Italy, Germany, France, and Canada. There are other invited countries that include Egypt, Qatar, and Syria. Also the UAE. When you consider what's happening with Iran, etc., it could be part of the discussion. We might drop in here a moment. Maybe we could eavesdrop a bit, but Aisha Hasni's watching nearby as well. And Aisha, welcome to our coverage. Hello to you.
Everyone crowding around Trump.
52 bomber in California. Plumes of...
Yeah, what the heck happened here, man?
The deadly crash of a B-52 bomber in California. Plumes of smoke and charred ground marked the spot where the military plane went down yesterday, just after takeoff. This happened at Edwards Air Force Base. Officials say it was on a routine test flight mission. All 8 people on board were killed. Our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin, with the latest for us here in D.C. Hi, Jen.
Hi, John. Well, the B-52 bomber crashed just minutes after takeoff. It took off and immediately after takeoff crashed and burst into flames. The 8-engine aircraft initially flew northeast at around 11:10 a.m., gradually turning farther north before abruptly hooking northwest and plunging at a rate of more than 5,000 feet per minute and crashing on the airfield at about 11:20 a.m. Video captured by local news stations showed a smoldering, blackened crash site on the airfield where the plane went down. The bomber typically carries a crew of 5, but 8 people, as you mentioned, were on board this aircraft, including the military crew, government civilians, and 2 Boeing employees. Families of those 8 are currently being notified. The B-52 first entered service in 1955 and was last built in 1962, but it remains a key part of the U.S. military. It was used in the war in Iran and is one of the 3 legs of America's nuclear triad, meaning it can drop nuclear bombs. The service has about 70 B-52s remaining in its inventory. Most are based at Barksdale Air Force Base.
Federal judge upholds felony conviction of Milwaukee County Judge O. Hannah Dugan. Caught red-handed helping an illegal alien evade ICE agents. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. One second. All right. Here's the full thing on the Antifa bit. It's like 13 minutes long. Maybe we'll come back to it.
Response to Gavin Newsom now being under...
Padilla cries weaponization, then gets hit with an awkward fact. All right. Why not?
Senator Padilla, what's your response to Gavin Newsom now being under investigation by the Trump administration?
It's just the
just the next person in a long line of the Trump administration weaponizing the Department of Justice to go after his perceived political
that's hilarious.
enemies.
But this was done under the Biden administration.
Doing enough about this.
California
Yeah,
News is not covering that. The investigation into Gavin Newsom started under
Excuse me, sir?
Biden, but California media is not reporting that. Why do you think that is? Senator Padilla, what's your response?
Sicko. Oh, James Comer.
Welcome to Podforce One, Chairman James Comer. You run the Oversight Committee, all-important way of trying to hold the various wrongdoers who tried to stage a coup against Donald Trump and have persecuted his allies for the past decade. Welcome, and tell us what hope do we have? Lots of people ask me, when is someone going to go to jail? What hope do we have that there is going to be accountability soon?
Yeah, and that's my biggest frustration thus far in the first year and a half of the new Trump administration is that we haven't been holding people accountable. The deep state abuses, just fraudulent spending of taxpayer dollars. But I think in the last 2 weeks, we've seen a huge increase in activity. And I have to brag on Todd Blanche over the last 2 weeks. He's really increased the effort to try to hold people accountable, not just deep state actors who clearly weaponize the government to go after Donald Trump, to collude with the media, to create false narratives about Russia and other things, but also what you're seeing in Minnesota and California with fraudulent tax dollar schemes. There were people prosecuted in Minnesota for the daycare, the Leering Center daycare, and all the welfare schemes that we're seeing in Minnesota. You're about to see some more in California. We also have other ongoing investigations on Medicaid fraud in other states. So as we get more information, we're going to do criminal referrals and pass that information on to the Department of Justice. So the thing I have to remind everybody watching is Congress can only investigate. We can't prosecute. We can't go and arrest anyone. I've heard people say that before on Twitter, and that's not a thing. The sergeant at arms or whatever, that's not a thing. We do investigations, and mostly in the House Oversight Committee, but occasionally in the Judiciary Committee led by Jim Jordan, and in the Intelligence Committee led now by Rick Crawford. But we do the investigations and we turn them over to the Department of Justice. I have more confidence today in the Department of Justice holding people accountable than I did a month ago.
Oh, more on the UFC plot thing. Let's see it.
Well, Kaylee, this is a story that deals with many different suspects in many different states, and we are learning, looking through these documents, that a mother in Ohio had the courage to call authorities on her 19-year-old, and she expressed some concern.
Interesting. Okay.
And she may have blown this entire case open. His name is
Yikes.
19-year-old Tyson Proper, and he was picked up after she called authorities on June 10th, just a few days ago. This was 4 days before the UFC fight. We want to show some images. The first image, I believe, that we're going to show is a rifle that belonged to her son, according to authorities. The other is a screen grab, several screen grabs showing aerial images and maps of the Washington, D.C. area, and discussing where snipers possibly would be related to the White House. This is all evidence that is posted on an official court docket right now, an official government document. But I will say 19-year-old Tyson Proper's mother called police after she was concerned about his purchases and communications with people online. It then led them to conversations that he allegedly had with someone named Brian Roa and Michael Thomas in Southern California. They appeared yesterday before a federal judge. We're also told that there is a suspect in Nebraska and one in Missouri as well. So what we're being told here, Kaylee and everyone on the couch, is that this alleged plot consisted of a plan to have drones that were actually armed with some type of firepower go and attack buildings around the White House. And once people left, they were going to have snipers nearby attacking some of the people leaving. This was a serious plot. The FBI, the Secret Service investigating this right now. And as you heard the deputy director of the Secret Service right there say that they believe there are more people out there. Right now, though, 5 people facing these charges. And it's incredible to go through these documents and see what happened. But it appears that it was this 19-year-old's mother in Ohio who really spilled the beans on this entire case by letting people know that she had some concerns about her son, Kaylee.
First Iranian oil tanker that is just floated through the Strait of Hormuz as Trump lifts the blockade.
Against threats. First Iranian
oil plunging below 75 a barrel.
Oil tanker crossing what had been a U.S. blockade line in the Strait of Hormuz today.
But major questions remain. Israel still vowing to defend against threats from Hezbollah in Lebanon, while Iran insists any lasting peace deal must include an Israeli withdrawal. President Trump today turning up the heat on Benjamin Netanyahu to keep the deal in place.
First Iranian oil tanker crossing what had been a U.S. blockade line in the Strait of Hormuz today.
But major questions remain. Israel still vowing to defend.
Interesting. Getting spicy. John Thune goes off on the Senate floor. Oh, yeah. Oh, John Thune, known for really popping off at the mouth.
Last week and admitted that the decisions he and his party have made this Congress have been about one thing, and that's improving Democrats' prospects in November. This is a quote. We made a lot of strategic decisions that got us to this place. It didn't happen by accident, end quote, the Democrat leader said, referring to his view of his party's position. And you know what he ticked off as some of the most strategic decisions, Mr. President? Democrats' 2 record-breaking government shutdowns. That's right. Democrats shut down the government twice to try to improve their chances in November, not to help hardworking Americans, not to get reforms at ICE and Border Patrol. No, to improve their chances in November. Mr. President, let's just run down some of the consequences of Democrats' choices. The disastrous situation at U.S. airports that resulted from Democrats' decision to cut off funding for air traffic controllers, for one. There are the incredible lines that Americans faced at TSA in the middle of that shutdown. The TSA officers who have
Okay. Investigative journalist reveals the truth behind the Newsom DOJ investigation after meeting with the IRS, allegedly. Okay.
They should be very, very worried because they have multiple ways that they've been, I think, committing fraud, tax fraud, unreported
Oh, you bet.
income, because there's no way that the lifestyle that they're living is funded by the income that they report. So either they're getting more income that they don't report, or they're getting gifts that they're not reporting. Something really shady is going on. And that's just when you're looking at their real estate. They should be very, very worried.
Oh, he was gifted a $3.7 million home, huh? Yeah, it's normal.
Products were made in.
Trump admin bans fake Made in America products. Good.
Chinese
It's insane that that was ever permitted to begin with.
manufacturers falsely claiming their products were made in America to evade U.S. tariffs. Now, 22 of them can no longer sell to U.S. federal agencies. The Trump administration barred federal agencies on Friday from purchasing their goods. The enforcement took place after a 3-week probe stemming from an executive order issued by Trump requiring federal agencies to aggressively target fraudulent Made in America claims. The probe into these Chinese manufacturers was triggered after New York-based Sherrill Manufacturing raised concerns about certain competitors. The company said China-based firms were falsely claiming domestic origin on a government procurement platform.
Wow. Okay. 5 women taken to the hospital after a car apparently drove by and launched acid on them.
Jersey City, where 5 people are recovering after someone drove up in a vehicle and threw acid on them. This happened on Wilkinson Avenue. At this point, officials believe it was sulfuric acid that was thrown at the group. Police believe this stemmed from some kind of a dispute that happened earlier in the day. They were taken to the hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Jersey City.
Okay then. Jeez. Oh, look at that. Microsoft considering integrating DeepSeek, Chinese-owned AI model, into the same software used inside the U.S. federal government and our schools. Okay, then.
I don't.
And as members of the King of it, have you been briefed on what's in the memorandum?
On Iran.
I don't think, I certainly have not yet, although we are requesting that, and I assume we will at some point hear from the administration with greater specificity about what's in that memorandum. I mean, we're all hearing in generalities what's been reported so far, but until I get more specific information, I'm going to hesitate to say anything more about it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And as members of the King of it, have you been
Germany's Chancellor Merz.
Wir haben heute gemeinsam mit Präsident Zelensky den amerikanischen Präsidenten wissen lassen, wir sind bereit.
Today, together with President Zelensky, we have let the American president
Wir haben heute gemeinsam mit Präsident Zelensky den amerikanischen Präsidenten wissen lassen.
know that we are ready for peace talks. However, these discussions must be started at a correct point. Russia's demand is not acceptable and remains that Ukraine has to give up its free part of Donbas. There was... Yeah, that's jumbled. I don't even know. Okay, that's it. I guess that's it. Israel asked the United States to see the Memorandum of Understanding, but the request was denied. Ooh. Spicy. Excuse me. Senate panel examining AI in K-12 education. Creepy Tim Kaine. Oh, it's turned down.
I think it was the most influential teacher you ever had in your life, you know, and think about that person. There's competition in my mind for that person. So I had a high school teacher who, because I was an introvert, thought it would be good for me to participate in the extracurricular of speech and debate because that might make me more confident in communicating. It was not part of the class. It was not anything I was graded on. It was somebody who noticed something about me and thought this extracurricular could be helpful. It was the shop teacher in middle school, and I was not that great a shop teacher, at least not on the wood shop side, who used to love to go camping and take kids with him because he didn't have kids of his own, and who would invite shop students, whether they were good or bad, getting an A or an F, like, hey, you want to go camping this weekend? I want to do it. That was not what my family did. It turned me into a lifelong outdoors person that I wouldn't have been without Joe McKenzie inviting me to go camping. But again, that wasn't part of the
Is this going somewhere, Tim, or
class. And it's not something that AI could do. AI, I wouldn't have noticed that here's somebody, though introverted, might gain confidence in doing some public speaking. AI wouldn't have noticed that here's somebody who might really like to do outdoor stuff. And so AI, I think, has great promise, but the foundational relationship between a child and a teacher is not something that AI is going to.
Thank you for that, Tim. Wow. Deep insight. Excuse me.
Appropriately in their. So parents that are concerned about this, what should they be asking their local school leadership about AI to feel comfortable that it's being used appropriately in their schools?
I think one of the great disservices educators do in many cases is they don't address it. They stick their head in the sand. They hope it'll go away. And so the worst thing you can do is just have a syllabus or not clearly defined rules. So talking about many, particularly in university settings, in a class, green light, yellow light, red light situation, we're going to use AI in these situations, but here's a situation where you should not use it. Because in some cases, it can help you do things like research much better, but in others you should set it aside, use critical thinking skills. And so really having your educators just addressing that up front, not saying it's the great evil, we're going to stay away from it, but also not using it everywhere, but really being methodical about where are we going to incorporate it into our classes, how are we going to use it. Start by teaching those ethical skills up front and just being thoughtful in your approach to it.
Okay. Minneapolis Antifa member Isaac Aumann-Sant was arrested after he was indicted for allegedly being part of the violent conspiracy to attack and impede federal officers in the Twin Cities. The secret contributor to the Antifa terror collective Crime Think.
442-654. 612-444-2654.
Is your dog okay?
Not my dog.
Oh, not your dog.
Okay.
Not my dog.
My name's Isaac Sant.
Isaac Sant.
His name's I-S-A-A-C. Last name S-A-N-T.
Thank you.
Our lawyer is Kevin Rich. I very much like you. You could call him.
We'll do it.
Rich is spelled R-I-C-H. 612-444-2654. Nazis!
Fucking pig.
Shame on you. Nazis! Fucking Nazis!
Yawn.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
Wah. Try harder,
Look at
bitch.
them. Fat pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry, did you see the guy that they just threw in the back of the van?
Lazy motherfuckers. Go! Look at them. Fucking idiots.
Mooshell.
Project you guys were involved in. Way to go, team. Thank you.
Oh, well, I can't hear that. It's coming out of one speaker again, and it's the speaker that doesn't get sound, so thankfully, for my sake, I can't hear that. Trump about to let Iran sell oil on the market as part of the terms for the deal.
And I agree with President Trump. He is very rich. But, Will, you're talking about how we still have so much to learn about this memorandum of understanding. Today, a big thing is we learned why the Iranians are eager to sign on to this thing. Turns out, according to the Wall Street Journal, Iran is soon going to be able to start selling oil again on the global marketplace. As soon as they sign this thing on Friday, they can start selling, and that is their main moneymaker. There's also a lot of talk about this $300 billion fund that they may soon have access to. Nobody is disputing that that is a thing. The main point of contention is President Trump wants people to know it's not a thing paid for by U.S. taxpayers.
And one of the questions I'm most often asked is, well, how is this different from the Obama JCPOA? And there are all of these answers I could give. Number one, we're not giving them a red cent of American money, not $300 billion, not $24 billion, not any of the money, the dollar figures that I've seen floating around.
And something different about this summit, even though Donald Trump is not the host, he is just a guest.
Okay. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, no. All right.
Summit, even though Donald Trump, and something different about this summit, even though Donald Trump is not the host, he is just a guest here, he is being showered with gifts from G7 counterparts, including the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz.
We were used to be
G7 economies are all affected by a closed Strait of Hormuz, and President Trump is here on the lookout for a thank you from these G7 leaders.
We can talk about the Iran deal all day long. We're not investing any money. We have the right to if we want, but we're not investing any money.
Okay. All right. Soon again, facing historic pressure to get the F and Save Act done. What else is new? Story of his life. Literally. Florida teenager accused of killing his stepsister. Oh yeah, the cruise ship thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Florida teenager
has been taken into U.S. Marshals custody and will remain jailed pending trial.
His stepsister aboard a Carnival cruise ship is now in the custody of U.S. Marshals and will stay behind bars ahead of his upcoming trial. According to the court filings, the 16-year-old's family was ordered to deliver him after the judge ordered an examination into potential detainment options. Legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer joins us now for more. So what does it say to you, Brian, that the judge ordered the stepbrother to be held in custody?
Yeah, Kira, I think the order is extremely clear itself. I'll just read a direct quote, that it seemed like the judge was worried about the defendant's danger not only to himself but others, and said, quote, indeed, it suggests a level of psychopathy and lack of remorse that by itself raises a serious concern the defendant can snap at any time, despite the well-meaning and serious efforts of his caretakers to make sure that it does not happen. The government's case for forcible rape is beyond clear and convincing evidence. So what that suggests to me is the judge said, hey, this is a person that was being charged as a minor, now an adult. The seriousness of the crime and the bail laws in this state means he must be detained.
Got it. So the suspect, who's being called TH, has been indicted as an adult, even though he's 16. Will his age make a difference since he's being tried as an adult?
Yes, so his age may make a difference when it comes down to sentencing. If let's imagine that TH is convicted of these crimes and he's punished either by the death penalty or life without the possibility of parole, there will be what's called a Miller hearing, and that hearing is to see whether or not this minor or person who was a minor at the time of the commission of crime, because I don't know when this hypothetical trial will happen, should be held without the possibility of parole after a conviction. There might also be some, of course, mitigating circumstances we see typically in cases like this when there's murder.
Huh. Creepy case.
Don't ask
Okay, what do we got here?
questions. California has turned.
Oh, this is quite long. We'll skip that. First victim identified in the B-52 bomber crash at Edwards Air Force Base has been named as Lieutenant Colonel Miles Middleton, former commander of the 419th Flight Test Squadron, pictured here. Is.
Edwards Air Force Base experienced a horrible tragedy, and we lost 8 great Americans. This crash is deemed to be unsurvivable, and right now our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that lost their loved ones. It was a B-52 that was on initial takeoff, supporting the radar modernization program, which is a test. It was a local test sortie. It took off, and immediately after takeoff, crashed and burst into flames.
This is a tough story here. An investigation underway now. How a B-52 bomber, massive plane, went down at Edwards Air Force Base yesterday morning. Matthew Wiz Buckley, retired.
There's an idea how freaking big that black spot is. Like that is a gigantic ass fire truck right there. It's freaking huge.
Navy Top Gun fighter pilot and chairman of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. And Buzz, good to have you back. Wiz, excuse me, good to have you back. Tough news for the family. Where do you start with this investigation? You've 4 giant engines on each side of this B-52. What do you think?
Yeah, Bill, we have 8 total, and the B-52s can fly, with half of those.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, four engines? Don't you mean like either 6 or 8?
Out essentially. This is a tough one, Bill. This was a test aircraft, B-52H 412th test wing. So a lot of sensors on board, a lot of folks sitting in windowless rooms with air conditioning, monitoring things, getting ready for this test flight. So the Air Force is probably going to know soon enough. And Bill, I'm not in the camp of folks who say, hey, we shouldn't speculate. Absolutely false. In military aviation, you want to start speculating immediately as to potentially what went wrong. Why, Bill? Because as you and I are talking right now, there are B-52 crews on the other side of the planet, probably airborne right now. So we want to get the information as quickly as we can to these B-52 crews. Okay.
A massive crash. Ugh. What are the prediction markets saying now about Fable access? 58% chance that Anthropic will restore access to Fable to US customers by July 1st. Hope so.
Capability. There are growing warnings tonight about controlling the latest artificial intelligence models and making sure some of the most sophisticated technologies do not fall into the hands of U.S. adversaries. Representatives from one major firm met with White House officials about that today. Edward Lawrence of Fox Business is at the White House with details.
An administration official tells Fox Business senior technical staff met with White House officials face-to-face today to resolve issues over security concerns. Anthropic's Fable 5 has the potential ability to hack sensitive government websites and some of the most secure critical infrastructure, a capability President Trump does not want in the hands of adversaries. Amazon tech experts told the administration they found ways to bypass safeguards, opening the full cyber capabilities of the advanced model. 5 other other companies also flagged the same so-called jailbreak issues. Amazon is a major investor in Anthropic, which an administration official says added weight to the national security concerns.
About a week ago, CEO Dario Amodei published an essay suggesting that we should pause development or at least take a breather, yet his company's actions weren't in congruency with that, right? He was saying it, but not doing it, so the president made sure it happened, and I think this is the right move.
The relationship between the Trump administration and Anthropic strained after a flurry of phone calls Friday, in which a senior administration official says Anthropic recklessly brushed off the issues. A source close to Anthropic denies that, adding the company maintains a strong desire to work with the administration. The strict export controls getting support from unusual places.
So I agree with the administration on this. We've got to be incredibly careful.
Yeah, when this guy is saying this shit,
and the AI companies, and
you better run the other direction.
You know, I think Anthropic is a good example, seems to be willing to work with the federal government on this to make sure that we do not make a mistake and release something that we will later regret.
An administration official tells Fox that Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and the National Cyber Director Sean Carencross are leading the review into Anthropic. There is no timetable yet on when the national security concerns will be satisfied.
Man. Ooh. Heavy police presence at a hospital in Wilmington, Delaware, following reports of a shooting.
Hostage situation at Wilmington.
Oh, a hostage.
Those who some of us push back, and then we're told, and I quote, "Those who speak ill of Mark Levin are not MAGA."
Well,
these days, it's pretty hard not to speak ill of Mark Levin. He's an unhinged wacko. He's completely off the deep end.
The president, as he does, is pushing back at a criticism of yours that he thought was unfair.
Not just me. I mean, a lot of the non-interventionalists.
But I talked to him last night, and I said, Mr. President, I'm going to go on Megyn Kelly's show, and I'm going to defend the administration's policies. He said, absolutely, I love that. Because, again,
good. Tell him he should do it next.
He engages, and he's going to criticize you when he agrees or disagrees with you.
I don't mind his
criticism. He's going to say nice things about you when he agrees with you. But that's what I actually love about the president. Is he's not like viewing these debates from the outside. Mm-hmm. He's participating in them himself. And again, Megyn, the frustration that I've had with, the non-interventionist side has been that the attitude seems to be, we disagree with the president on this policy. Look, we can have that debate, but fine, okay? You disagree with the president on this particular policy. That doesn't mean you can give up on the entire enterprise.
Yeah, no,
and the reason,
I agree with
Megyn,
that.
the reason why neocons are so much more effective in politics than the people on the other side in our coalition is because they play the game.
About your book, because I actually do think it's a great book. It's called Communion. It's called Finding
My so that's what he's on. He's on a book tour.
Way Back to Faith.
Sure.
Here it is right here. You can get it today. And I actually learned a lot about you in this book that I didn't know. I love that you begin it with Mama, who is everybody's favorite person. And here is what you say. Mama hardly fit the stereotype of a sweater-knitting, kindly old grandmother, and her faith wasn't always, perfectly consistent with her own religious upbringing. She loved to say the F word. I can't relate. And when she died, she owned 19 loaded handguns. Mama's God suited her.
Nice, lady.
Loving and forgiving, but tough, demanding, and possibly packing. So you credit her with giving you the gift of faith.
That's right.
How did you get to the point where for a time you lost it?
Yeah, it just didn't stick. And I think this is one of the many reasons that motivated me to write about this is, I've got 3 little kids. I've got a 4th on the way. We take our kids to church every Sunday. And for some kids, even though their parents believe, even though they pray, even though they try to raise their kids to be followers of Jesus Christ, it just doesn't stick. And part of this was sort of trying to understand.
Oh, this goes on quite a long time. We'll keep going, but Former Brazilian President Bolsonaro's son, Eduardo, jailed 4 years for lobbying for his father in the U.S. He's been jailed for 4 years just for coming here and advocating on behalf of his dad. That is insane.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Ursula's Democratic European Union plans to crack down on VPNs. It was inevitable. It was coming one of these days, sooner or later. The new EU age ID verification system will not be bypassed via VPN access.
Yes, of course, it's difficult, of course, to have the technological solutions that there's no any way to circumvent or try to circumvent, of course, the rules. But now, when we are setting the rules in place, of course, we have to also have ways how we are able to implement this. And now we don't have that kind of age verification tool at all, which is protecting the people's privacy, and in the same time, which is cyber secure and secure all the levels. So this is our solution for that. But of course, it's also important part of next steps also to look that it shouldn't be circumvented. And especially, of course, we are especially looking at that kind of high-risk services now. We just a few weeks ago, we published preliminary findings on against 4 porn platforms, and these, for example, are seen as a high-risk services that they have to have very strong age verification tool in the place that they can be sure that users under 18 years, they are not having access to these porn platforms, for example. So that's why that kind of...
It's just digital ID.
...of privacy preserving solutions are very much...
Forcing it for everyone. Oh, it was a hospital employee that opened fire in Wilmington, Delaware, in the hospital, wounding 2 coworkers. Suspect remains at large. Somehow.
All-time high, and inflation should taper off as the Strait opens throughout the summer. So I think what Jessica really wants to say is thank you.
Jessica, do you want to say thank you?
Thank you for being here. It's very, very cool to have you with us, especially when we're discussing this topic that you're running point on. And I'm a little uncomfortable about what I'm about to do, but I've been amping myself up all day.
No.
So no, it's not.
Call the Secret Service.
No, they're already here, like 50 of you. You know, there's been leaked versions of this MOU, not just in the Iranian press, in the Saudi press, the Pakistani press. The American press has gotten their hands on some details as well. You know, the Wall Street Journal has it that Iran can immediately sell oil and that they're going to get some sanctions relief right off the bat. That was something that we heard was not going to happen. So they have an incentive to get this going by Friday, and there's going to be money changing hands. In the copies of the MOU that we've seen, again, leaked, we have this $300 billion fund. And I saw you last night, you were with Sean talking about it. He said, well, it's not our money. It's, you know, Gulf nation money, our partners' money, but that's still a $300 billion payday, and that's something that they desperately want to have. The punting on the nuclear program for the 60-day negotiation, you know, that's the real tough stuff of this, right? Like, that's the meat of what we really need to get done. And you say the JCPOA, you know, didn't have anything about that. It's in the preamble of the JCPOA that Iran will cease all efforts to have a nuclear weapon, and enrichment will be held at about 3%.
Well, they can't enrich now because they can't get the dust, Jessica.
Also,
Barack Obama never buried it.
Well, the vice president is here. Don't interrupt me, and then it'll be over really fast.
Okay. I wasn't interrupting him. I was interrupting you.
I meant me. Be polite for our guest.
Okay, I'll try my best.
And, you know, people who are disappointed with this deal, and it's not just Democrats, it's the whole spectrum of Republicans, from, you know, MAGA America First Republicans to traditional neocon Republicans, who are concerned that
Mark Levine.
It doesn't actually get rid of this ballistic missile program, the proxy forces, the regime change, which were the initial promises of this war. And I think also that big Axios report last night was meaningful, where they said that CIA Director Ratcliffe, Rubio, and Hegseth, based on American intelligence, were doubting the kind of results they thought we could get out of this deal. That
Yeah, so just let me address
Well, maybe that's not the point, dear, but okay.
a couple things, because I think you're making the same mistake, unfortunately, that a lot of the Iranian propagandists make when they talk about this,
Like
which
the
is
Wall Street Journal?
they talk about the benefits to the Iranians without any of the things the Iranians would have to give up and have to change in order to get those benefits. So you mentioned a $300 billion fund. I got to be very clear about this. Not a single cent of American money under any circumstance, no matter what the Iranians do, goes to Iran. Not a single cent of American money.
Other money.
Here's what this says. This says, for example, let's say that the United Arab Emirates, who have been a great ally, let's say they want to invest in a power plant in Iran. What this deal provides is that if the Iranians have done everything we require them to do, then we will allow the United Arab Emirates to do that, because they can't do that right now without American approval. So we're fundamentally saying if the Iranians transform how they interact with the world, we will transform how the world economy interacts with Iran. But if they don't do any of that stuff, they don't get any of these benefits. So I think all the Democrats who are saying, well, the Iranians get all these things, they don't get anything unless there's been a complete transformation of how Iran interacts with the world. That would be a huge win for America. And to Jesse's point, if they don't do any of these things, we don't give them anything, they don't receive anything, their nuclear program is still destroyed, their military is still destroyed, their missile program and industrial base is still destroyed. We fundamentally have transformed the Middle East. Whether they comply or not, this is just icing on the cake, assuming they do all the right things.
Can I just say quick, and then obviously it goes to Greg. So I guess two things. One, there's already been...
Assuming they do all the right things, we'll see. And assuming, well, certain other things don't happen. Oh gosh. Former Vice President Harris gives a wordy response when asked about potential of running again in 2028.
Kamala Harris is in Austria today at a summit, and
oh no.
She was asked about her intentions for 2028. Take a listen.
What people are telling me includes that they want to believe in systems, and they've lost trust in those systems. They want things to be better. And in some places, what that sounds like is we want that to be broken. But they don't actually necessarily mean break it through destruction. But they do mean it has to be better.
Do you want to try to decipher that answer?
Yeah, the best part of that whole interview is watching Arnold Schwarzenegger's face where he's just like, what are you saying right now? Like, I have no idea.
I couldn't even begin to make sense of that.
I'm glad to see she hasn't improved at all. I hope she's the front runner for the Democratic Party. I hope they run her again. We're going to get back to like, what is the meaning of is pretty
yes, please.
soon with her. And I think this is also tells you where the Democratic Party is. They really don't know who their leader is.
Yeah, please just run her again. Bring it on.
After being swept away off a
Oh my goodness.
California beach.
2 women aged 20 and 21 killed after rising tides and dangerous surf swept them out to the ocean.
2 women are killed after being swept away off a California beach while napping amid
Oh gosh.
high tides and dangerous waves. The 20 and 21-year-old women were killed at Panther Beach in Santa Cruz last week, with the local coroner's office confirming their identities on Monday. First responders were called to the scene, later deploying 8 rescue swimmers. The women were found along a 1-mile stretch of coastline, and both were pronounced dead at the hospital in the days following the incident. According to reports, one was a student at UC Berkeley, while the other was studying at San Jose State University. A volunteer fire captain describes the dangers of not being aware of the rising tide.
How do you even... I don't know how you do something like that.
Patients, we believe, were originally sleeping right at the keyhole, which is an area that we're finding catches people unaware. The tides come in, and in this case, they swept out 2 sleeping patients. But what we're also seeing is that people go through the keyhole to get to Yellowbank Beach, and then they get trapped on Yellowbank Beach because the tides come in. So it's an area that's catching people unaware.
The incident comes after a 5-year-old girl was pronounced dead after she and her family were swept into the water in Laguna Beach.
Oh my gosh. All the tards out at the beach. You do that, man. Like, did you notice that the tide's coming in? Like, lapping at your feet a little bit? Like, just sleep through it? Was it drugs? Like, Trump pulls special education and civil rights oversight from Education Department. Bye-bye. Dismantle that shit. Okay, let's go back down.
On Wall Street, 50 oil and stocks. Here's the opening bell on Wall Street, 52,070. We have never been that high before on the Dow 30. Oil's dropping like a stone, well below $80 a barrel now, down $3 today. And this is really good news when you're talking about summer driving season. Come on over here and we'll show you quite obviously on the calendar how this was all moving. On the chart here, so this is February 28th, okay? Oil's around $60, $70 a barrel. We go up March 5th to $81, and then right in the early April here, we're about $114 a barrel. And right at that time, what happened? There was a ceasefire declared, and then oil started trending lower and lower to where it was at the close yesterday. National average gas prices is good news.
We're now down at the 72 range per barrel.
Now 406, but look where it was a year ago. A year ago we're at 313. 313 looks very tasty right now, doesn't it? How much of a problem is the rising gas prices for you? How much of a problem is it for the country? Interesting split. A major problem for your family, simple majority, 51%.
Okay. Oof. I think we did those.
Drones hitting buildings.
Did that. And boy, Vance on The View.
On this theme, because I think it's really important. I'd like to pick up on this theme because I think it's really important. We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families.
Don't belong here?
They're using children as bait. But the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
No.
But here's the point.
This administration is cleaning up that mess, bitch.
You enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
please hold on.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'll let him finish a thought.
So President Trump has called affordability a hoax. He said that, not me. He's pouring money into this ballroom of his and the reflecting pool. Oh, don't forget the Arch Trump pay, I call it. And a White House cage match. All these things. Why is he doing them when you just, everybody knows that Americans are struggling? What is he spending all this money for?
Well, I got to defend the president on the hoax point. What the president said is the idea that Republicans caused the affordability problem is a hoax. And I think that's true. If you go back to the Biden administration.
Yep. All right, give me something more spicy here.
Targeting this past. Got a potential nightmare scenario stopped in its tracks. The FBI and its law enforcement partners disrupting an alleged plot targeting this past weekend.
I think we played that one. Oh, Trump this morning. Let's see it.
Say to Republicans, what do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical?
Yes.
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble. Lindsey's good. Lindsey's fine. He's not skeptical. He's just fine. Look.
He's just fine.
This agreement covers something very nicely. We're not paying for anything. We're not doing anything. The markets now are higher than they were when we started. Remember that. The stock market now is 2,500, maybe even more than that, points higher than it was when we said. So it's pretty amazing. This agreement's about one thing, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Never, ever, ever. The rest of it's irrelevant, frankly.
Senator Graham also said that an eventual agreement with Iran should be sent to Congress for review. Would you do that?
I never thought of it, but I would. I wouldn't mind. I mean, you know, the Democrats, you know, we call them Democrats because they're dumb people. The Democrats.
The Democrats. All right.
They're dumb people. The Democrats are, well, what I'd like to do is send it to Congress saying you shouldn't approve it, and I'll get it approved. Whatever I say, they want to do the opposite. It's not working too well for them, by the way. But yeah, I never thought about saying it, never even thought about it, but I will. I will send it to Congress. I like the idea. Never even thought about it, but I will. But yeah, I never thought about saying it, never even thought about it, but I will. I will send it to Congress. I like the idea.
On another topic.
I mean, who wouldn't approve it? Let's let them have a nuclear weapon. The Democrats will say, oh, they should have a nuclear weapon. They'll go crazy. I like the idea. Send
They'll
it to
go crazy.
Congress, please. All right.
Mr. President, were you briefed on the attack?
Oh, were you briefed on the attack?
President, were you briefed on the attack plans for the UFC event at the White House? There was the FBI thwarted an attack.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched. The attack that I watched were the fighters. And he saw it too, by the way. He was sitting back home in his beautiful palace and he was watching it. And they were as good a fights as I've ever seen, right?
The best fight.
The best. They were. That last fight was brutal.
Wow.
And the two last, all of the fights were good.
The two fights.
Were you briefed on the attack plans for the UFC event at the White House? There was the FBI thwarted an attack.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched. The attack that I watched were the fighters. And he saw it too, by the way. He was sitting back home in his beautiful palace and he was watching it. And they were as good a fights as I've ever seen, right?
The best fight.
The best. They were. That last fight was brutal.
Wow.
And the two last, all of the fights were good.
The two fights.
Were you briefed on the attack plans for the UFC event at the White House? There was the FBI thwarted an attack.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched. The attack that I watched were the.
Oh, sorry. Let that one loop.
I have a question. And how specific?
Iran will be just fine. What's happening is that at an appropriate time, there's no rush at all. We have cameras from space on it. We know everybody that goes there, which is like nobody. The B-2 bombers hit it. The entire mountain collapsed inside it. It's a very tough excavation. Nobody else can do it but us and probably China. They have the equipment. We have the equipment. We're in no rush, but we get it, and when we get it, we'll destroy it.
Is that part?
We're not looking to take it. We're looking to destroy it. We have plenty of it.
Tell the Versailles dinner tomorrow night. What prompted you to go to coming in? How specific?
Iran will be just fine. What's happening is that at an appropriate time, there's no rush at all. We have cameras from space on it. We know everybody that goes there, which is like nobody. The B-2 bombers hit it. The entire
Versailles dinner tomorrow night. What prompted you to go to that? The dinner tomorrow night.
Being late, he was invited to a dinner in Versailles.
So, well, I'm a fan of beautiful places. And I was leaving in the afternoon, and then the French president, who happens to be a very nice man, invited me to dinner at Versailles. And Versailles is not a gold leaf. Versailles is the real deal. And I said, I'd like to do it. I mean, you know, all it means is that I get home later in the evening, meaning early in the morning, and I'm not a big sleeper anyway. I'll be in the Oval Office I won't lose any time in the Oval Office. So I have to say this, our country is doing really well. We're doing better than we've ever done.
Okay. Oh, there. Trump admin. Oh, shush up. Trump admin will not give G7 allies access to Anthropic's most advanced AI models, according to a report. I bet you they were asking, though. They want it. These psychos. This is in Minnesota. Damn. See that? Chuck that guy. Or girl. I hear him hit the ground even, I think. Okay. Wow, Americans are now spending more than twice as much time on AI companion apps as they are on dating apps. You're kidding me. That's disturbing. Oh yeah, O'Keefe infiltrates New Jersey Antifa. I haven't seen this yet. Let's see. We'll finish up with this.
An OMG journalist went undercover inside Antifa at the height of the New Jersey shipment port blockades and discovered that members of Antifa have infiltrated almost every industry, from AI engineering, university administration, T-Mobile, to the United Nations, lawyers' guilds, and nonprofit boards of directors. We use their secret internal group chats to identify the members, highlight their most egregious statements, and track down where they work. And the positions of power that some of them hold genuinely shocked us. These people are everywhere. Specifically, the journalist infiltrated an Antifa cell called NJ Byrne. Recently, at Delaney Hall, the illegal immigration detention center in New Jersey, Antifa made headlines by rioting and attacking journalists and law enforcement. NJ Byrne was one of the groups on the ground.
No one's gonna come protect you. Fuck you.
I was personally on the ground at Delaney Hall. I was forced to deploy mace in self-defense and had to retreat into Delaney Hall for my own safety. The violence at Delaney Hall has been brutal and unending. Also, NJ Byrne has been making headlines for shutting down major shipment ports such as Elizabeth Port in New Jersey.
Have shut down the entrance to the Port of Elizabeth. Port of Elizabeth is one of the most significant ports in the world.
Thanks to the journalists' infiltration of their Signal chat groups, O'Keefe Media has been able to review these chats. And within them, they discuss plans for future port blockades and violent protests, celebrations of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and wishes that Trump's assassin had succeeded. Using names and profile pictures from these chats, we were able to track down a few of the members. For example, using the account's profile picture and name, Lex, we were able to match her to a LinkedIn profile for Alexis P. She is a council member of something called the New Jersey Coalition Against Sexual Assault. Lex gleefully expresses that she is a, quote, menace to the white side of her family, laments the fact that minorities have expressed condolences for Charlie Kirk, and expresses how much she, quote, fucking hates centrists and conservatives. When a person with this much anger, hatred, and racism in their hearts is a council member at the New Jersey Coalition Against Sexual Assault, how are white women, or conservative women, or centrist women for that matter, supposed to feel comfortable or safe going to the NJCASA for help? You would think radical chats like this would mostly consist of students and activists, but what we found was much more alarming. These people are everywhere.
We cook your meals, we haul your trash, we connect your calls, we drive your ambulances.
To quote Fight Club, they program your AI, they run your cell phone service, they are execs in medical companies, they are congressional candidates, university administrators, defense attorneys, and perhaps more predictably, ACLU board members. In a chat planning the Elizabeth, New Jersey port blockade, we found Jim Keaty, who served as city councilman in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and also ran for the 4th Congressional District of New Jersey, although he was not successful. Just imagine if our government was infiltrated with Antifa sympathizers.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia.
Just imagine. Woo Jin Ko was subscribed to the Jackie Support Antifa group chat, which is dedicated to providing support for Jackie McRae, who firebombed 10 NYPD vehicles in 2026. They/she had their Instagram profile linked, which had a matching profile picture to the LinkedIn account. And they're an engineer at OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT. So you can only imagine the radical agendas that they/she is programming into ChatGPT responses. Yet another participant with strong authority over the programming of AI technologies is Belkacem Melfak, who works as an AI automation leader and expert for T-Mobile. Out of all of the people we found in these chats, 3 of them work in high-up positions in leading AI companies. These are the people that will be programming and engineering AI technologies long into the future as they become a more and more prevalent aspect of social programming. Turning our attention to Rutgers University, Zainab Tanvir is an imaging director and assistant professor at Rutgers, New Brunswick. So if your children go to Rutgers, just know that the administration that oversees them is also sympathetic, if not complicit, to the Antifa agenda. One such example, in the same Elizabeth Port blockade chat, we found Amanda Dominguez, who is a PhD student at Rutgers and an organizer and coordinator at a workers' rights activist organization called New Labor. On New Labor's mission page, it states that they fight to empower workers and clean up dangerous safety conditions. We are not exactly sure how creating human blockades against truckers trying to do their jobs is empowering them or improving safety conditions, but this apparently meets New Labor's standards of employment. Also, in the chat planning the Elizabeth Port blockade, we found Aditi Rao, who is a doctoral candidate in Princeton's Department of Classics. We can't help but wonder what's going on at Princeton if their doctoral candidates and members of the Department of Classics are engaging in chats celebrating assassinations and plotting to shut down major American shipment ports. Also, in Princeton Princeton, New Jersey, at Princeton Theological Seminary, a Presbyterian private school, we found Reverend Shannon Smythe, who serves as the school's director of field education. We couldn't help but wonder if families that are spending over $20,000 a year to send their children to Princeton Theological Seminary were aware that members of the faculty were supportive of Antifa's agenda and disruptive tactics. Cress Volucci was found to have access to NJ Burns' Google Drive, where they upload photos, videos, and even a media kit in preparation for the port blockade on October 3rd. Perhaps quite predictably, Cress Volucci is a board member of the ACLU and a board member and co-founder of the National Lawyers Guild. The ACLU is notorious for defending Antifa rioters in court, so it doesn't come as a major surprise that their board members would be actively participating in their disruptions. For example, in 2017, the ACLU of Oregon notoriously filed a class action lawsuit against the city of Portland on behalf of members of the Rose City Antifa, citing excessive force by police. There's also Celine Simon. Her profile picture featured a poster stating "Everything is political," which was also referenced in her LinkedIn. She is the co-founder of Study Hall Foundation, which is apparently hosted by the United Nations every year for an annual summit. It's probably not even surprising to many of you that the United Nations would give annual summits to companies founded by Antifa members, especially considering the UN infamously tweeted about their, quote, profound concern over a recent statement by the U.S. Attorney General describing Antifa and other anti-fascist activists as domestic terrorists, saying it undermines the rights to freedom of expression and of peaceful assembly.
Speak in the language that they understand, and sometimes that is violence.
Peaceful assembly. Unsurprisingly, we found Thomas Whitehead, who is a PhD doctorate student at Cornell, until he was arrested for assaulting a police officer with a flagpole. When so many aspects of American society are infiltrated by these radical agitators, everyday life can become compromised by their violent agenda. This isn't just an isolated issue. Antifa participants are systematically invading our justice system, our AI technology industries, our university administration, and their students' minds. There is so much work to be done on this issue, and we're calling on the US government to track down these detractors. If Americans are to feel safe and secure, trusting their Justice Department, sending their children to universities, or even using AI technologies, it's clear that something has to be done to cut back the amount of influence that these radicals are seizing. If you work in any government department or influential corporation and you notice that radical, violent, Antifa-associated individuals are being given positions of power, please reach out to us to be a part of this investigation. You can securely email us at tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or text us on Signal at 914-491-9395. Stay tuned.
When I'm out in the field exposing corruption, meeting with confidential sources.
Jeez. Yikes. All right. Well, I suppose that about does it for yours truly. Sketch Danger's in. How you doing, brother? Pop my share off here.
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Good to hear, sir. Very, very nice.
I have this awesome new superpower where if I stay up till a certain time, my body says, hey, you only get to have 6 hours of sleep. So we're just going to make sure you wake up. So that's been happening. So that's fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
There you go. I like the shades, by the way. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I dig it.
Happy 250, right? Liberty.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up quick.
Awesome. Yep. You feeling okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, feeling better now. On the mend.
Good.
Thank goodness.
Glad
Need to
hear
get
it.
back to work, so. Yep.
Awesome.
Well, I'll let you get to it, man. Have a good show.
Yes, sir. You enjoy whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, you know I will, bro. Have a good night.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Back at you.
What is going?
All right, YouTube. That's it. I'm out. I will see you guys probably tomorrow morning. Yeah. See you then.